Hello and welcome to Start Select, the video game show that turns it all the way up to 11 and then breaks the knob off with its sheer awesomeness. We've got an audio special for you today with interviews with the biggest names in game music and audio production. We'll also be taking a first look at the multiplayer in Red Faction Guerilla and taking an exclusive first look at the new maps in F.E.A.R 2. But not until we've given away limited edition press kits for the review version of Infamous on the PlayStation 3. But first, let's go and talk to rock band Data Rock and other luminaries of the gaming audio world. Audio has become a huge component of modern video game development, so we thought it was high time to head out into the industry and interview some of the people working in this exciting area. From rock stars such as Data Rock to the orchestral composers behind Killzone 2, we found out what it takes to make music in the modern video game.
The Data Rock project sort of tries to make a point out of the weirdness of our generation. And in our case, we've been lucky because we've had income from shows and we've had income from video games and synchronization to TV shows and films and advertisement. But for a lot of bands, this is going to be so hard. Like you can imagine all the bands that don't do live shows and don't have the opportunity of getting their songs into video games, advertisement or synchronization in general, who will now not be able to produce expensive records anymore because there won't be any revenue to cover the expenses. So, like today, you can access whatever music. Everybody has broadband at home. Everybody has a very super speed computer. But we remember when we had computers that couldn't do anything, you know.
In January 1982, the Commodore 64 personal computer was introduced, with a 64K built-in memory for under $600.
But let me tell you a funny story. When we were kids, one of the weird subcultures was, tied in with the various subgenres of alternative music, and a lot of kids had their own radio show. And one of the things we would do was tell everybody, yeah, have your cassette recorders ready by 3, because at 3 we're going to broadcast the new video game, you know? So we would sit ready by the radio and record for 10 minutes, and then voila, you had a new game.
It's often said, you know, if the score is really good, then people don't notice it. And I don't always think that's true, because if you look at people like, John Williams or Hans Zimmer or people like that, you definitely notice their score. You know, their score almost makes the film in a certain way, and I think it can be similar with games. I mean, I like to think that if you have a really solid theme in a game, that it really does add something to it, and people go, all right, I recognize that. That's a recognizable theme.
So how important is the audio side of the game?
The standard cliché answer is that is 25%, and it is a big part of this game. There's a lot of music, there's a lot of sound effects, and of course the voiceovers. The actual acting is, well, that sound really. So.
The thing is, the stuff that we actually need the sounds for, you can't just find a library with a specific thing on it. Like if you need like a World War II tank, the recordings of that, there aren't many at all. So you actually either have to find somebody in England or an enthusiast in Sweden and then just persuade them, say, look, please, can we come down and just record your tank?
Any given moment, this is the sound debugger. You can see how many sounds are going on. Like in this room, we'll probably have around 30 sounds at any given second playing. Those are positional sounds playing on locations, and also we have static sounds from the ambience tracks in the speakers. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's also a lot of voiceovers. There's a lot of characters, there's a lot of lines, there's a lot of dialogue. There's 2 games in one, really. So.
Yeah. We ended up recording the cutscene music at Abbey Road, which is quite an amazing experience. We had about 30 minutes of cutscene music, and that covers kind of the main intro sequence that I think a lot of people might have already seen on YouTube and things like that. And then some of the major kind of story points. And the reason that we kind of wanted to record that music live is because that's really where a lot of the kind of emotional impact of the story happens. You know, when you're playing the game and when you're kind of running through the levels, there's a different kind of emotion happening, which is all about you know, shooting people and destruction and, you know, just running and gunning, so to speak. But it's the cutscenes really where the story comes to life and where some of the certain character traits come to life. And so to kind of help that process and really kind of give that a bit of emotional backbone, we decided to record it live, and that ended up happening at Abbey Road.
Recently we went out to America for like 10 days with all the other EA teams and did a gun shoot across like, I think we went through about 30 or 40 weapons all in all. So we actually shared that, which is a really good experience. There was an American base called Fort Irwin, which is, they've remade like an Iraqi village, and we actually went there and fired the guns to get all the reflections and sort of different sounds from there. And then we bring all the material back, and the nice thing here is each sound designer's got their own unique way of doing things. Like Stefan, for example, has a very dirty, sort of YouTube-y, just nasty feel to it, and I come more from sort of like a bit more polished and sort of filmic background. So it's interesting to work with the different people as well.
As video game consoles become more and more powerful, it's clear that audio will only get bigger and better. We look forward to seeing what these guys come up with in future. Competition time now on Start Select. On the last show, we gave you the chance to win one of 3 copies of Battle Stations Pacific. All you had to do was email us the answer to this question: which internal IDOS studio is behind the development of the game? The answer was IDOS Hungary, and these 3 clever clogs all knew that the correct answer was IDOS Hungary. Will Reddyhow from Loughton, Tim Edwards from Manchester, and Nick Budd from Bristol will bomb over copies of these to you ASAP. Cocker out. This week we've got, quite frankly, amazing competition prizes for 3 copies of Infamous on the PlayStation 3. These aren't just any copies, mind, these are the limited edition press kits of the game, which you can't find in stores, as well as review copies of the game itself, which is the full version. They fetch ridiculous prices on eBay, and if you want to be in with a chance of winning one of these amazing prizes, all you have to do is answer this question: what is the name of the lead character in Infamous? Get your answers to competitions@gamespot.co.uk before the 26th of May, and don't forget to include your name and address so we can send out the prizes. You can also find out more about these Infamous press kits on the London Calling blog. Now though, let's go and check in with Luke Anderson to find out more on Red Faction Guerilla.
A copy of THQ's hotly anticipated Red Faction Guerilla landed on our desks this week, and we wasted no time checking out the Wrecking Crew multiplayer mode. Guerilla has a regular multiplayer mode, but the development team at Volition decided to include an additional offline-only pass-the-pad mode. Wrecking Crew's goal is to dish out the most damage possible. However, in the series twist, you'll be blowing up buildings to Kingdom Come rather than people. The gameplay is similar to other pass-the-pad games, where each player takes it in turn to chalk up the biggest score possible in a limited amount of time. There's a wide range of options to tinker with, and there's 4 main modes to play with. Total Chaos has 60-second rounds with unlimited ammo. Escalation gives you limited ammo but increases that as the rounds increase. And Barrel involves blowing up as many explosive barrels as you can within 1 minute. Finally, there's Rampage, which gives you a generous 3 minutes to get the job done, but reduces the time limit every time you use your weapon or jetpack. Each of the modes are fun and offer different styles of gameplay. To get the job done, you can choose from a wide variety of different weapons, from standard rifles up to rocket launchers and the devastating thermobaric rocket. If you're looking to inflict the maximum amount of damage, then this is your weapon, and it can easily take down a tower or half a building in a single shot. If you target the strategically located barrels, you'll be able to speed up the job even more, and once you've critically damaged the structural points of a building, you can watch it crumble to the ground with satisfying results. Volition has done a brilliant job with Guerilla's physics engine, and it's quite satisfying to leave a domino effect of destruction in your wake. In addition to weapons, you can also equip a backpack, all of which make a tactical difference to the game. The Rhino lets you ram through walls in short bursts, helping to decimate a structure in a short period. Equally as impressive is the jetpack, which helps you get to a safe distance from any splash damage caused from your wanton destruction, allowing you to rain down carnage from on high. And the Tremor Pack has the awesomely unique ability to create a localised earthquake which will finish off any nearby weak structures. Despite being set on the bleak red planet of Mars, there's a good variety of maps available. We saw 6 in the demo, but we're told by THQ that the final game will feature 4 more. Complex is a simple, small map, consisting of several tightly packed buildings perfect for close-range demolition. The Watchtower map, on the other hand, has several buildings spaced further apart, making explosives more suitable for the job. Cascade was one of our personal favourites. It features a huge sinkhole in the middle, surrounded by many tall structures. There are also several buildings and pipelines running across the chasm, which help to boost your total when the towers collapse on them. The best map for showing off the string of damage you can accumulate, however, is the aptly named Pipeline. It features an obscene number of crisscrossing tubes at various heights, and by taking aim at the top ones, you can maximise the destruction when they collapse onto lower structures. Only the man-made structures can be destroyed in Red Faction Guerilla, but at the end of each round, damage is accumulated for a 10-second break period, letting you chalk up a few more points before handing the controller over to your friends. Wrecking Crew looks like it'll make a great addition to Red Faction Guerilla's existing single-player and multiplayer modes. The game is just around the corner and will be released in the UK on June 5th. To find out more, check out GameSpot's in-depth preview coverage and check back in a few weeks' time for our full review.
Hello, I'm Guy Cocker, and today I'm going to run you through the F.E.A.R 2 Armoured Front map pack. The Armoured Front map pack consists of 2 new multiplayer maps, both of which have an emphasis on mech-based combat, in addition to 4 new skins for your multiplayer character. The pack launches on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network this week, but we scored an advanced play against the developers of the game to find out if it's worth your time and money. Here are the 2 new multiplayer maps in action. Conductor takes place in a train yard and has a huge open area at the centre, which is perfect to ascend and snipe from, while Decoy takes the form of a training ground, complete with cardboard targets that pop up in windows and doors. They're not particularly distracting, but you do need to shoot them out of the way to access certain areas. Given the name of this expansion, it's suitable that both maps should be focused on the Armoured Front game mode. In this mode, each team has to fight it out to take control of all 5 points across the map. You have to capture each point sequentially, however, so battles usually focus at the centre of the map, trying to capture point 3. The common theme in these new maps is the mech combat, which really makes it exciting. Both teams have access to a giant robot which can provide effective support for those who are doing the capturing. The mechs have both rocket grenades and machine guns at their disposal, but the rockets take a few seconds to reload while the turrets overheat quickly. The mechs can still make mincemeat out of any standard soldiers though, so it's a good job these levels feature plenty of cover. The Decoy map in particular is excellent, with training ground style walls with windows from which you can pop out and fire rocket launchers. What do you think of F.E.A.R 2's multiplayer? Are you still playing it, or will these new maps tempt you back to play online? Get in touch with the show and let us know your thoughts by emailing startselect@gamespot.co.uk.
That's all for this week's Start Select. Make sure you get your competition entries into competitions at gamespot.co.uk. And remember, you can subscribe to all of our Twitter feeds for the latest news from E3 in a couple of weeks' time. We'll be back next week with another episode of Start Select, so we'll see you again next Friday.